Protect Joe Rogan at all costs. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Joe Rogan grilling CNN medical analyst, I suppose, Sanjay Gupta on his podcast. Now, I thought this was fantastic. If I could find the entire clip, the full podcast that they did together, I'll link to that in the box. But you got to see this clip right here because CNN said some things about Joe Rogan that weren't true. And I enjoy how Joe Rogan was able to call Sanjay to the carpet basically and be like, hey, man, what's going on with your network? What's really happening? I really enjoyed this back and forth exchange. And this kind of illustrates the way a lot of these things would go down in reality. But before I go any further into it, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you're going to see Joe Rogan on his own podcast interviewing Sanjay Gupta, and they're back and forth. After we get done with that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what was said there. Then I'll give you my 2 cents and my detailed analysis. And then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Horse dewormer's not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network, and it's a lie that's a willing. That's a lie that they're conscious of. This is not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Well, the FDA put this thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it. They said, you are not a horse, you are not a cow, stop taking this stuff, or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people, a drug that was responsible for one of the inventors of it making
Nobel Prize.
winning the Nobel Prize in 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is.
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine. Like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got
this
it with
right
you.
Here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like I feel like I'm missing.
Do you think that's a problem that your news network lies?
Well, I don't.
Dude,
what did they say?
They lied and said I was taking horse dewormer. First of all, it was prescribed to me by a doctor.
Yeah.
Along
they
with
shouldn't have said
a
it was
bunch of other medications.
If you got a human pill, because there were people that were taking the veterinary medication, and you're not, obviously. You got it from a doctor, so that it shouldn't be called that. Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease, and as you say, it's probably, I think a 250 million people have taken it around the world.
More,
I get that.
Way more.
So
way more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two things on
you
the ledger.
You have, before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that was you're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before coming on your podcast.
But they did it with such glee.
No,
yes,
Joe.
they did. I watched.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, shout out to Joe Rogan. Bravo, sir. Thank you for standing up for all of us that have been lied on by the mainstream media. I mean, this is a constant, everyday thing. Every single day, they get on there and they lie about us. I've been lied about myself. I'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. But they lie all the time. Not just misrepresent a little bit. Maybe you get some of the facts incorrect and you want to go back and fact check. No, they just straight up lie. Talking about, he's taking horse dewormer. Why call it that? He had a doctor prescribe a medication. Okay, just because there's this particular thing in a horse feed store does not mean that I took that. It means that I was prescribed medication by a doctor. So they're talking about, you guys, you Facebook researchers, you armchair scientists, all this, that, and the third. You guys don't know anything. Talk to a real doctor. Talk to a real physician. Trust the science, all this and that, and the third. Well, IVM has been given out as a medication to millions and billions, as Joe Rogan said, people all over the world for a very long time now, and won a Nobel Peace Prize. And Sanjay Gupta knows that. He knows that this is a real medication and won a Nobel Peace Prize. And this is not some kind of horse dewormer. So why are we talking about it like it is? And why aren't you, Sanjay Gupta, calling your employers out on this, having an internal conversation with them on this? Why aren't you doing that? You're the medical guy over there. They're going to come to you to get the real deal about what's happening with things like this, with medications and treatments and diseases and illnesses and whatnot. You were on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about that, and you go on CNN and do the same thing. You are a consultant, you're an analyst, so why didn't you call them out on that? And it was really weird. You know, that exchange, that's really weird. That exchange right there kind of reminds me of how when people fight online, when they have back and forth words exchange and then they meet in person, and then that same energy is not there anymore. Oh, it's like, oh, hey, you know, all this laughing and joking is like, no, I'm not laughing and joking. You know, I'm dead serious. They're talking about I'm taking the horse dewormer. That's at a certain point, that's called libel or slander. When you say something like that about me and pump it out to the whole world, to millions of people, ruining my reputation, destroying my name, now I got to come back and defend myself on that. I could sue you for that, for sure. So I want to know, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you step up to the plate and tell them the truth? You know why? It's because there's a narrative to push. CNN, ABC, MS-13, DNC, they push lies every single day, all day long. And they don't really care because it's all about trying to push a particular narrative for whatever the individual purpose is. Now, as far as their political stuff, we all know about that. All these alphabet letter news outlets are pretty much the enforcement arm of the Democratic Party. They're the propaganda arm. Matter of fact, not even the enforcement arm. The enforcement arm, that's your BLM and your Antifa, these, you know, so-called protesters, really rioters. That's the enforcement arm. Okay, similar to the Klan back in the day. It's the enforcement arm. But your CNN, MS-13, DNC, ABC, etc., these organizations are the propaganda arm. Okay, the misinformation arm. They'll tell the public all types of things that they want them to believe that are not true for whatever reason they have. When you're talking about politics, of course, they want to support a Democratic Party, right? So any Republican, any conservative, anybody that's not on the same page as them politically, they're going to attack. It doesn't matter if it's a true attack, false attack, they're going to attack them. They're overblow things. We all know, if you're watching this video, I'm 99.9% sure that you know the whole January 6th thing was overblown by the media, way overblown, especially by their terms when you're talking about property damage, loss of life, things of that nature, because there have been many more riots, actual riots all over the country under Antifa and Black Lives Matter that have taken more lives, that has resulted in more property being destructed, burned up, looted, and everything else up under the sun. Much more than the January 6th event, but those events are pretty much swept under the rug. It's not really a big deal. It's what they say, it's good trouble, all this and that. But January 6th is the worst thing in the world. It's worse than 9/11, worse than the Unabomber, all types of stuff. Why? Why are they doing that? It's because they want to paint conservatives and Trump supporters as domestic terrorists and people that need to be eliminated. They want to paint us as the enemy. Even if we don't agree with the whole January 6th thing, it doesn't even matter. They want to paint us all with the same broad brush. That's the purpose of exaggerating what happened on January 6th. Okay. Now, as far as the IVM talking about, oh, Joe Rogan took horse dewormer, all this, that, and the third, he's a crackpot, he's a conspiracy theorist. The reason for that is multifaceted, in my opinion. I think the first one is kind of obvious because there's a lot of money right on the line. A lot of money. You're talking about these vax mandates and the vaxes, if that's a word, themselves. Big money, billions of dollars, big money. So you want to protect some of your donors. So let's say you're CNN or you're just a regular normal politician and you getting Pfizer money, you getting Moderna money, allegedly. I'm not saying this is true, but I'm hearing about certain monies being floated around. So if you're getting that money through advertisement, being on television, you getting these drug companies advertising your network. And if you are a regular normal politician and you're getting campaign contributions from these big pharma corporations. You want to make sure that you do whatever you can to make them maximum money from your point of view. Whatever you could do, you do that. So if that means squashing a different medication or kind of downplaying it for the more expensive one, then you go ahead and do it. Also, again, going back to the Democratic Party thing, they want to push for vax mandates for everyone in the country. So if you're not on board with that, then you're not on board with them. Again, you're losing money, you're losing revenue, you're losing power. That's what it's all about from my point of view. Okay, it's the money, it's the power, it's the, some campaign contribution kickback, some ad money contribution kickback. You want to keep that gravy train rolling. That's why you want to attack Joe Rogan. That's why you want to attack anyone who thinks like Joe Rogan. And to talk about Joe Rogan right quick specifically, he's a very powerful person. I would say, without having the statistics in front of me, that Joe Rogan is the most popular podcaster on planet Earth. If he's not, he's at the top. Right at the top 3, 5, if not the best. Okay, Spotify probably gave him a 9-digit contract, well into the hundreds of M's, I would presume, to be over there rather than YouTube. Joe Rogan is a really, really, really big name. So when he says something, when he does something, the media and the politicos and all the other foot soldiers got to go into overdrive to prevent that from gaining any kind of traction, because they don't want anything that he says to become normalized. They want what they say to become normalized. Get your vax mandate, get your vax, get your booster, your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th shot. Take these pills, take all of what we give you, rather than other things that have been around for a very long time, trusted, proven, safe, Nobel Peace Prize, award winning. Don't take that. That's horse dewormer. That's the right-wing nut job, tinfoil hat, Trump supporter, redneck, no teeth. That's what they take. You take our drugs. Side effects, don't worry about that. That's more the same old conspiracy theorist stuff. That's what's going on here, in my humble opinion. And shout out to my man Joe Rogan for standing up to the mob. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about the exchange between Joe Rogan and Sanjay Gupta? Did it make you feel uncomfortable? How'd you feel about that? Whatever thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. I appreciate Joe Rogan for his bravery, for not letting these big companies, corporations, try to squash his voice. But that's what happens when you make yourself indispensable. It's hard to just say, you know what, let's get rid of him. If they want to get rid of Joe Rogan, if they want to say that he's a nut job or whatever, how about those millions of people, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people that watch him, listen to him all the time? What are you going to say to them? How are you really going to convince them that he's not right? I think what's happening now, as I close for real, we're having an ideological battle, an ideological war. You have the ivory tower people, the political people, big money corporations against kind of like regular Joes, regular everyday normies, right? You got that going on. And I think in the end, we're going to win. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.